Mesechta Menochos, Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. We're starting from 4 lines from Zayin. I'm sorry, Vav Amud Beis, Maskiv. So we're starting from Maskiv. Yesterday we had a shita called Rabbi Yossi ben Yasan. Rabbi Yossi ben Yasan had said that if somebody would just did the kmitza, but he wasn't a kaddish it, then he cannot correct. If he didn't wasn't a kaddish, he could correct it. The marshal, if you did a kmitza with the left hand, and the Torah says to do with the right hand, or if a zor did the kmitza, so what's the halacha? The halacha is that he takes back the kmitza, puts it back into the pile, into the original kli, and then he does the kmitza again with the right hand. Or if it's a zor from the same flour, and if it was a zod that did it originally, so he puts it back, and the kohen goes and does the zikah in order to be the kmitza in order to be good. The chiddush is if he was mekadosh it, you cannot correct it. So maskil Lord Rav Nachman.
You mean who the zar was mekadosh it?
Yeah, zar or if he did it, the guy who did it with the left hand. If after the kmitza he put it into kli sharis and it became kiddush, you cannot go back and put it back into the kli. Okay, and redo it. Maskil Rav Nachman is takash Maika Sabri Hani Tanoi. What do these Tanoim hold? If the kmitza of a psulin is considered as the avodah, if the kmitza that apostle does is considered as avodah to apostle the mincha, so matan kli, even without putting it into the kli shades, it should be already apostle and not be able to correct it. The kmitza itself, if the kmitza is if he did it with the left hand and it's considered as avodah enough to passel it, if it was done with the left or with by a zar, so it shouldn't be able to be corrected even before you put it into the kli sharis.
And what did he say that was?
Only after you put it into the kli sharis, then you cannot correct it. It should be passel even before. Right away. Even though he didn't place it into the kli. And if the kmitza of a pasla person who did the avodah with the kmitza is not considered as avodah to pasel the kmitza, so kiyavid la matan kli. What's it bayab? What's the chilik? It shouldn't be holy because there was no. It start over. There was no avodah done yet to become pasel. And the Gemara Rav Nachman goes back and says, "Leilam avodahi." Really, it's avodah. But there's two parts to the avodah.
So what do you need?
It's not. Yeah, so he says because the avodah doesn't fit. Like avodah so ad avid law matan kli. So it's only a part. Part of the avodah was through the kmitza, and the end of the avodah is through putting it into kli. So then he could correct it, put it back into the original kli where he made the kmitza from, and do over the kmitza. Like so I feel like Kiddush. If you say that the comments, the kmitza that he has done, and it was mekadosh of kli sharis, he cannot correct the mincha, even if he wasn't mekadosh the kmitza to putting into the kli sharis, he shouldn't be able to correct the mincha. Why? He says that the moment he puts it back into the kli, that should be considered as the kli sharis. Who cares which keli it is? It's the smaller keli, the bigger keli. The moment he takes the kmitza, there was a kmitza and it was taken out of the keli, and now he puts it back. That kli, whatever kli it is, it should right away be makadosh as a kli sharis, and it should be uncorrectable. You shouldn't be able to correct it. I believe it should become possible.
He did with his left hand, right?
Yeah.
So and then he wants to put it back. So
The moment he puts it back, he made a kaddish with the kli sharis. That's the kli that was mekadosh. Who cares if he put it back where all the flour was? That's also kli sharis. To be mekadosh, the kmitza in any keli doesn't matter. That should become. It should be mekadosh. That's what he's that because it's a kli sharis. I mean,
he says any case, it's
not any keli. Whether it's the small keli or whether it's the keli where he took the kmitza from. If he puts it back to the place, they're both kaddish. They both have a kli sharis. Yeah. Yeah, the only way that a kli sharis could be mekadosh, only if you did it with the intention, it's to become holy, this kmitza should become kaddish, then the kli sharis makes it kaddish. But if you did it with the intention, dafka not to redo it, that it shouldn't become holy, you're putting it back because the first time you did it wrong, you did it with the left hand, or it was done by Azar, and you put it back into the kli. Your intention wasn't that it should become, that the kmitza should become holy. If I can't, shouldn't become holy. You want to start all over again. So the mother, that means mashma, that if you would have done it with the intention that it should become kaddish, it would have become kaddish. How could you say that? He had a shayla. What is the din that, like our case, that he did the kmitza, and he did the kmitza with a kavana, right? So he had a shayla if you could be a makavit or not. He says no, it's not kaddish. So how could you say it would have become kaddish? You said you just said we just were medayik. That the reason why the kli wasn't mekadosh it because that wasn't his intention.
He just wanted to put it back.
It was right, but what's if his intention was that the kli should be mekadosh it? It would be kaddish, right? So the kasha is, but we know it's not. We just have a
Why
brayz.
would you think
Because
so?
you had in mind that it should become kaddish. You said the only reason why it's not going to become kaddish because he ate mekach element das.
But he did a psul at the beginning.
You're
He
right.
did it with his left hand.
But
Now
we
he wants to put it back.
so we said when he puts it back in the kli, it should become kaddish, no matter what, because it went into another holy kli and there was mekadosh it. So he said it's not going to be mekadosh unless that was his intention. But what's if it wasn't his intention? It would be. But we see it's not.
Yeah, because why should he? He did something that was
Okay,
wrong.
but put mamish, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be able to be corrected once it went into a kli shadas. So we said, but it's mashma. If you had the intention, it would be mekadosh it, and we learn it's not. The Gemara, so he says, "Ein mekachin." That's not what he said. Ein mekachin lekadev. He didn't say he doesn't become kaddish. He does become kaddish.
In the keli.
In the keli, if he had the intention. But lekadev, to be able to be makav it, you can't because it's possible.
Because he did it
Of mekachin, of possible, but he made it kaddish that it should be possible that you should be able to correct it. If he did it with the intention that the kli should be mekadosh it, and now he wants to be do over, he can't do a do over because he had in mind it should become kaddish, but you can't be makav.
because he did a psul in the beginning.
Yeah, and you had the intention. If he did a psul in the beginning, and without and he had the intention it shouldn't become kaddish, you can redo it. Here he's telling you, but if you were mekadosh with the intention, you're not going to be able to redo it. With a psul. And what did Raisa say? A mekachin, not that it doesn't become a kaddish. That it can't be mark of it. Okay. Zakti Yimada Ravam gives really, it says really the klishas could be mekadosh even without having das to be mekadosh it. So what happened over here? Why didn't it become kaddish when he put it back into the klishas? If it becomes kaddish even shalem yadaita, you're going sheikh zil lebisa. It's talking about gedusha. That the flower was so high, it was above the rim of the keli. So it wasn't in the walls of the ear of the kli. It went on top of like a mountain, like a cake or challah. It goes over, and he put it on the top.
So you've never put in the keli. What's the
So
kiddush?
that's what it is. In fact, you want to really? So why was the kmitza a kmitza? Kmitza has to be from inside the walls of the keli. If you're saying he took it from there and he's putting it back there, obviously he took it from the top of the mountain above the walls of the kli. So how was the kmitza a kmitza? How could it be? How could it be a kmitza? Yeah. So if you want to look at bisa tfufa, it's talking about that he put it back on above the wall. So tfufa means that the keli was above the walls, right? But the kmitza he took from inside. In fact, you might have keep in the comments like if he did the kmitza from inside, and he
Second time that he's doing it. Now that he's doing
or even the first time. Now we're talking about the kmitza. The kmitza, yeah, the second time, right? But even the first time, he took it from the center, so he took it from the proper place. So now there's a cavity, he says. So what do you mean he put it back on top of a place where it was above? fact, the Gemara, keeping the comments like Avlei Guma. Once he made a kmitza, there was a hole, a cavity.
Depression, yeah.
Yeah, he's putting it right back into the cavity.
He's filling up the hole.
Yeah, so it's talking about he puts it by the wall part on the side of the cavity. He didn't go to the keli is all the way up. Here he made a hole. So when he put it back, he didn't put it back by the hole. He put it over here on the side right next to the wall of the kli. It's a mountain. It's above the walls of the kli. So therefore, it's not put back into a kli. So therefore, it didn't become kaddish by putting it back into the kli.
But he put it on the side of the
Since he put it on the
top.
side of the
And
hole,
side
so it was above the walls of the kli. And this that he shakes it and it automatically falls back into the right place. So that's nothing. If he gives it a shake and it falls on itself back in the right place, then ask him.
Because he wants it to be, when he does it again, it should be coming from the toich.
Oh no, we're talking about even though the second time he put it back and now it falls into the hole, so let it become kaddish. So he says no, because the nasa kimisha hakayf. It's like a monkey put it back in its place. He has to put his hand. He has to physically put it there in order to be good.
So if he puts it there himself, so what? Then what?
Then it would become holy, and he wouldn't be able to take out another kmitza to correct it.
What is the situation now? Then why do you do that?
He put it on the side of the hole, and it was
fell in,
above.
and
It fell in. That's nothing.
So he's allowed to make kmitza again.
Yes, because this that it fell in is not considered he did it. It's like a monkey did it. A monkey did it. Yeah. Okay, I'm laid up. Giving you a look. You're going to see the kli hamonach agabe kaka. Says, what do you have to give me all these drushes he did on the side? And you know him from meeting, and he put it back on the side. Let me give you a simple case. Where did he make? He put it back. When he put it back when the kli was sitting on the karka. And if the kli is sitting on the karka, it's not kosher. The kmitza has to be done. You're holding the kli with the dough, and the kohen makes the kmitza, right? But when he put it back, it was already sitting on the floor, and he put it back. So if you put it back while it's on the karka, it's not going to be kosher. It has to be above. The kohen has to be holding the kli. Doesn't matter, but it's karka when he put it back. That's no good. He says that's simple push. Yeah, so
if he wants to put it back, the kohen
it has to hold it. That's this is
something.
something. No, it has to hold it. No, says the Gemara from here that came from this that he didn't answer such a simple answer. Came to make kli shal gabe karka. That you can make a kmitza even from a kli which is sitting on the karka. That it doesn't have to be the kohen holding it. Oh, it's a whole. We're not so clean yet. We're still going to talk about it later again. You reached a shaila which has been a shaila from Rabbi Avimi to Rav Chizda. So he says it's not so pashut, saying if he takes it on if it's on Munach Agabe Karka, it's mutter. The kmitza is a good kmitza. What was the shaila? First of all, Avimi learned the Masechta Menachos in the basement of Rav Chizda. That means Avimi was like a student to Rav Chizda. In fact, how could you say that? But Avimi by Rav Chizda Tani is a child that Avimi learned in the yeshiva of Rav Chizda. But Rav Chizda Kofi Tavi Bali Ma Avimi. We have makis, we have patch, because I forgot a halacha that Avimi taught me. So Avimi was his rabbi. Mishnah rabbi. I was to give him patch. Yeah,
Which rabbi gave you patch?
Ich will geben, du musst gedenken him. Rabbi Shvei said, Allah, the ha shmaita. On this sugya, which sugya was he talking about? He was talking about that they had to sell the Dixie Yisayim in order to pay back the Malay Chayvus. So they have to auction off the Dixie Yisayim. And why? They auction it off in order to pay back the Chayvus that the father owed. So what do? So you have to make hachraza. How many days do you wait? You want more people to come, and there should be more competition, so the price goes up. More days or achrazas. So it says the Gemara, if he consecutive every day he called, then shloshim yom. You need 30 days of that calling. Shenim chamishi shipim yomi. But if it's only Mondays and Thursdays, you only need 18 days of calling. It seems like there's a better effect. The 18 days when you don't do it every day becomes cheap. But when you do 18 days over 60 days,
No, if you do Sheni Chamishi, because people come
over
to
2
town.
months, right?
No,
But it's only 18 days versus 30 days consecutively. So yeah,
That's a good idea, really.
so yeah, and it becomes cheap. Well, it's something that you say you say every day. Okay, but that should you look, But I'm saying something that's every day is cheap. Something that's done Mondays and Thursdays, and it's done even though less, has a stronger effect. Anyway, Avimi Masachtis Akri Sakale says the Gemara answers, why did Avimi go to Yeshua of Tizda? Because Avimi forgot, he forgot Masachta Menochos.
What do you mean, why shouldn't have gone? Because
He was the
smart-
Rebbe.
He was a smart guy.
Yes, and now he went to his student, and he went to his student of Chizda to teach him the Gemara. Look at this. He had Chizda patch for saying never forgets the Gemara. I'm joking. Anyway, he says the Gemara, "V'lishlach lei v'leish legabei." So Havimi should have sent Rav Chizda, that Rav Chizda should come to him because Havimi was the Rebbe. Nevertheless, Havimi ran to his student to learn by his student. Why? Sava, the Hachim Staya Milsa.
You learn more from your Talmidim, right?
Yeah, Talmida, yes, Mekom, that's a novice. So anyway, Sava, the Hachim Staya Milsa. He felt that if I'm going to put in more work to want to learn, I'll remember it more. So I'm going to put in, even though it's a busha for me, I'm going to go to him. I'm going to take that journey that I should learn for what? By his Talmud. That will make him remember more also. That here he brings down, here, your guy to Matzasi. If you put in your gear, is Matzasa. Okay. He said, I'm about to say, your guy to Matzasi, Efshla But here he put in the gear for it. Okay. Pagabei Rav Nachman, after Avim was learning by his student Rav Chizda, Rav Nachman met him on the way. Met Avimi, the teacher who was learning by his student.
What shaykhs did Rav Nachman have with him?
He met him. It was in that time. No. Amalei. So Rav Nachman asked him, Ketzit Kenson, how do you make a kmitzi? He's saying, you're learning Menochos now all over again. Let me hear. Amalei the Kli Zeh. He shows him this Kli. This is the kmitzas. As every Hashchita. We know all the 4 avodas by kmitzas corresponds to the 4 avodas by a carbon. The Shchita, Svat Shchita, Kabbalah, Hilacha, Uzika. So the Kmitza is the Shchita. The Kabbalah, the being Makabal, the Kmitza is the Kabbalah. Then in a Keli, and then you take the Keli to the Mizbeach, is Hilacha, and burning it on the Mizbeach is the Zirikas Dam. Okay, so he says, how do you do Kmitza? He shows, this Kli, like this. So he says, you show me this kli, it's on the karka. You just go and make a kmitza like that. Somebody has to be holding the kli. Amalei, so he's Amalei Savim said, yeah, the Makalei Kain picks it up. And then you do it. You're right, yes, well. He says,
You do pick it up.
yeah, you do pick it up. That's what I was telling you. It's not so clear. How does the kmitza become holy? So now you have to put the kmitza itself in another kli. So Amalei Savim says, no, the kli say, you see that small kli? He puts it in over there. Okay, perfect. So he says, in fact, does somebody mekadosh a kli that's above the karka? Amalei, he says, the Migalei Kohen is talking about the Kohen picks it up. It's mamish reminds me of Rabbi Garfinkel at the Tetzel Tamaisa that you could buy on Bauer Street. For 25 cents, you can buy as much alcohol as you want. Alcohol, yeah. She couldn't stay on Bauer Street. Okay, so the shikha goes to his friend. He says, let's go, put 12 pennies together. They've made 25 cents. He comes into the store. He says, give me as much as you could. He says, you got to have your kalim. You have to bring your vessels. Okay, he says, no problem. He takes off his hat. He fills it up here. And he says, any more? He says, yeah, sure. Top. And on the other side, he comes to his friend. He says, that's it you got? No, it's like this. I got more. This is one garnish. Anyway, advice from the Kli. You see, that's the mistake he make the kmitza from. That's the mistake he put the thing back. Amalei said, "Im kain utzach l'shleish kahanim." You're going to need 3 kahanim. You told me from this kli you make a kmitza, and the kahanim are standing holding the kli. The kohen, there's another kohen who has to make the kmitza. Then there's another kli you showed me you have to put it in. That's another kohen. It's 3 kahanim. So he says, Amalei, sure, teitzich l'shleish kahanim. You could have 50 kahanim by the time shal shachar. There were 13 Kahanim. Geisam Gedul, 3 Kahanim is Lishki
Why
Kasazai.
is 13?
There was 13, that's what it says by the Tam Shal Shacha.
That you had
The Mishnah B'Yuma Imerish Shleish Yas Kahanim, Hoy Mishtaten Ba'avid Tam Shal Shacha.
So many 13?
13, yeah.
What they do?
I didn't go through it there. I didn't look in the Mishnah, but it says. So yes, don't be so wondrous. 3 Kahanim, it's all right.
It's a bargain.
It's like Gemara Isvei. So the Gemara is going to ask on Rav Nachman. I'm sorry, that Rav Nachman is going to ask on Avimi that he says b'shas kmitza and putting in the kametz. The kohen has to be holding on to the kli. It cannot be on the ground. It says you want to say klal. It says kol hakametz v'hanois mekli v'hamoilech. Now he's going through the whole Seder Avodah, the kmitza, the putting in the kli, and the bringing the kmitza to the mizbeach. So you have the kmitza, the shechita, kabbalas mekli, haylacha, v'hamakta, and the burning. Lechel dava shadakta lechel to be able to eat. What's the derech to eat? The shiraim of the mincha.
What does it taste like, this one?
I never tasted it. Well, we could start with
What
cookies.
cracker?
Some are wafers, some are crackers, or like challahs or soft. But we didn't learn the Aveda of picking up the kalim. We learned the 4 Avedas. But part of the Aveda is that there has to be a kind holding up the kli also. He has to live. Doesn't mention it. Why doesn't he mention it? Says you might Tana say the Aveda is not good.
When does he hold, which one? When he takes it out from the first case?
It should say first he picks up the keli, and then the kohen does the kmitza,
Right.
and then when he puts it into the
Second case.
second keli, the kohen first picked up the thing. Why did he mention it? So he says he learns the Avedis. Here Rashi says he learns the Avedis Achshivas. Well, say that kind of. He's not learning the non-essential
Why is it not?
because it wasn't so. It wasn't considered as a Aveda Chashuva. Rashi says
The second picking up was the first picking.
both. The picking up was not. There was not with the 4 Avedas that correspond to the 4 Avedas of the carbon. Those were the 4 Avedas Chashuvim. The Kmitza, the Kabbalah, the Hilacha, the Aktara. The other ones lifting it is not the Cheshuvah. In fact, you want to pomenei me'av sheishes ba'u likmitz miklisha al gabi kaka. They asked from Rav Sheshes, what's the din? The same shayla. Kmitza from a kli that's sitting on the karka. Malay, he answered. Rav Sheshes answered back. Puk chazi ma'yov lagav. Come out and look at what they do inside. Oh, so he says, Abba Kahanim, look inside how the Aveda was done. Abba Kahanim nechnasim. 4 Kahanim entered into the Lefnai v'Lefnim, where the Shulchan was. Shnayim b'yodim shnei zdarim. He had 2 Kahanim, each one was carrying 6 breads. There was 12 breads. Each Kahanim was holding 6.
You mean Shabbos?
Yeah, on Shabbos. Ushnayim b'yodim shnei bezichim. And 2 Kahanim, each one was holding a spoon of ketores, because you had to burn the ketores to be able to eat the challah. So you had 4 Kahanim were going out with the breads. There's 4 Kahanim coming, and then there's 4 Kahanim to accept it from them to take it out and put it on the mizbeach. Because 2 to take away the 2 guys who were holding the 2 sets of breads, and the 2 were zichron, because they stayed inside. They came from the Lefnai, and then the other Kahanim had to go on the mizbeach. There was another set of 4 Kahanim.
So 4 Kahanim is to be master.
Yes.
What about to take out the collars that
So that's the first 2. Each one took out 6. 2 Kahanim were holding 6, and then there were 2 bezichon on the
they
side.
brought it in.
That was in the whole time. Now they're taking it out
So the same
to burn it
Kahanim-
to be able to eat the
Same
challah.
Kahanim that brought in the new 6, take out the old 6?
No, the other Kahanim are putting in the new chalis. That's other Kahanim. We're talking about now to be able to eat the chalis.
Yeah.
What was done? 2 Kahanim carried 6. 2 Kahanim carried the potatoes. They gave it to those Kahanim, to another 4 Kahanim, to take it to the mizbeach to burn it.
The Bezichon.
The bezichin and the chalas to take out to be able to eat it. So he says like this.
These 4 take out the
Yes.
old collars.
Yes. Ushnayim beyodim shnei bezichim. Abba mikadm lefnei. There were 4 Kahanim walking empty-handed in front of them. Shnayim litel, 2 to take from on top of the shulchan the shnei azdarim. Shnayim litel the shnei bezichim. So the Tana. So here he says, go. 4 Kohanim went into the Heichel. 2 of them. Okay, to receive it. Okay, and now you didn't learn about picking up the shulchan, because the shulchan should have been lifted. The shulchan is like a kli, just like by the Menochos. Yeah, but Hagvar sure has to be above the karka, especially the bazichim. When you take a kmitza,
shulchan is always above the karka.
No, it's sitting on the karka. You have to. It's a kli. You have to pick it up. You have to pick up the kli. I don't know, but they had to lift it. They had the sticks to lift it. They had the 2 bars.
The shulchan was always on the floor.
On the floor.
And then had to lift it up.
You had to lift it up. Why? Because the bazichim are like the kmitza. What makes it permitted to eat? The kmitza. You have to take off the kmitza and then burn it on the mizbeach.
Yeah.
So too, the bazichim was burnt on the
It had to
mizbeach.
be lifted up.
Had to be lifted up. And then they would take
Couldn't be
on the karka when they took the bazichim. It's like making the kmitza. It's the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
So he says, we didn't learn that. Says, you want to love Amata? He answers, say the Avodah is not cut. Hanami, say the Avodah is not cut. He says, we were only talking about the main part of the Avodah. Main part of the Avodah is the Vazichin to burn on the Mizbech. But the like the Kemitza, but not the lifting of it. That's not the from the Avodah Hachashuves. In fact, could you then compare? So the Gemara says, so Midami, could we then compare Hasam Loy Nachslim in Yanu Kahanim? He says, there you weren't mentioning numbers of the Kahanim. So there's no need, I'm talking about by the Mincha. All you spoke about was the Kmitza. You never spoke about Kahanim. Kmitza, you spoke about Kabbalah, Hilacha, and Aktorah. Here, you're mentioning Kahanim, and how many, you're going through the numbers. So if you're going through the numbers of Kahanim, say all the numbers. Because now, one of the aspects, not everything was the Avodah that you were telling us. You were telling us a number of Kahanim. So if you were going into the numbers of the Kahanim, there were more. There were the Kahanim that had to lift the Shulchan, you should have mentioned.
So that's more than 8.
How
they lift the shulchan to just stand up?
There's the bars.
Had legs on it?
No, the bars on the side. You slid it. How did they always?
Oh, they held it.
Yeah, they just pick it up and that's it.
These Kahanim held the table like that.
That you had other Kahanim that would lift it, and that's
The
it.
one that lifted held it up.
Held it up, yeah. So he says, Nachas Lam there, you didn't talk about numbers of a Kahanim. Halcha Nachas Lam Yon the Kahanim. Says, you want to Inisa. So if it's Taka right, that they have to pick up the Shulchan, listening Magbiyah, they should have mentioned those Kahanim that lifted in order to say all the full number.
Maybe it's not kosher.
No, even it's not, it's Avodah. So you're going through the numbers of a Kahanim, say all the numbers. That's not part of the Avodah, saying numbers of the Kahanim.
More than 8 already.
Yeah, sure. Elishmami knows
How
that.
many guys have to get paid?
Right. Elishmami knows that I from here. Koimts in the Klish Hagabikak. Is that I from this that he didn't mention it? You didn't have to pick up the Shulchan. So just like by the Shulchan, the Bezichim were like the Kemitza. It doesn't have to be from a Kohen who's lifting it. So too, the Kemitza by a Kli can be done even from a Kli Shemunach Hagabikak. Shmami knows that. Yeah. So this is what we concluded, that you don't need Munach Hagabikak is good. That's what we said before. That's the conclusion. Okay, Zaktimar Amar Rava said, Shita Li, it's simple to me. It's so simple to me that the Kemitza could be done from a Kli, from Al Gabi Karka, just like the Bezichin is in comparison to the Kemitza, which was taken off the Shulchan, and the Shulchan wasn't lifted. So too, the Kemitza by the Menochos didn't have, it could be from a Kli that's sitting on the Karka. So we found by the order of the Bazichin, by the Shulchan, which was in comparison to the Kemitza, and the Shulchan didn't have to be lifted. Now we're talking about the second Kli. Till now we're talking about the first Kli. We know that the first Kli where you do the Kemitza, right?
It could be on the
That could be on the karka. About the second kli, we can learn out from the shulchan. We didn't take the bezichim and put it into another kli. The bezichim we took straight to the mizbech and fabrant the keteiras.
It didn't go into a
It didn't go into a keli. It was already in a spoon.
They came with a spoon.
We came with a spoon and poured it on to the mizbech. They didn't put it into another kli.
Oh, it was never put on the karka? I mean,
Yeah,
on the
karka.
table, the shulchan?
It was never put. It was on the shulchan the whole time. Then they would take it off the shulchan.
When did it had to get on the shulchan? Somebody brought it
The
there.
chatchila was put on the shulchan.
When they came in with the chalas?
With the chalas, they had the bezichim. The keteiras always had to be there. The only way to be mata the chalas is taking the spoons of the keteiras, bring it straight to the mizbech and burn it, not put in another kli. But by mincha, after you did the kmitzi, you put in another kli, and then from that kli. So how do we know about the second? What is the second kli? What's the din? Does it have to be? Could it be? It's not. It's not compared to anything. So is it? Could it be muncha gabe karko or kohen has to lift it? So if you want to buy your rabbi kiddush kohen, it's mine. What's going to be the din? So if you want to be mincha yalfina, we can learn out from mincha. Do we learn out from mincha just like by mincha the first kli? You could be muncha gabe karko when you make the kmitza. So too, when you put it the kmitza in the kli, you shut it. Could also be agabe karka. Or we learn it out from the blood by the dam that was lifnai to lifnim, the par helam tzibur. So there, the dam had to be in a kli. For the kohen had to hold the kli, just like the kabbalas adam was not sheira agabe karka. So I'll say the same thing by Kiddush HaKaimitz. The kmitza has to be in a kli, which is not agabe karka.
The second kmitza,
If the second time. The pashta midan yalfinale. The Gemara concluded. We learn out from dam, just like by dam, it has to be with a kohen holding it, a kohen being makabel dam. So too, by the kmitza, has to be a kohen being makabel with a kli
The
shutters.
first kmitza could be on the
On
ground.
Chagabe Karka. Secondly, is compared to dam.
It has to be in a
It has to be a kohen holding the kli.
On top of the karka.
Thank you. Did the others say that the kmitza has to be done by a kohen holding onto the kli? Well, Itma, we learned the kmitza. He took 1.5 fingers, put in one keli of flour, and another 1.5 fingers in another keli. So the Gemara is,
With the same hand?
yeah, he dropped a half in here and then the other half in this keli. So is it good or not? So Rav Nachman, it's not a full kmitza. Could you combine it to make it into a full shear, or you have to have the full shear in the kli sharis? Rav Nachman in a kaddish. Rav Nachman says it's not holy. It doesn't become sanctified. Rav Nachman kaddish, even once you combine it, it's kaddish. V'im isa. Yeah.
In other words, the first keli, you take it this way. And then
He did one keli half, another keli half, and then he combines it.
This.
Yeah, he
Into the
drops
second
half this.
keli.
So he says if you combine it together, it becomes kaddish. But Rav Nachman says it's not. Rava says it's kaddish. V'im isa little dam. And it says, if it's right that we learn out from blood, by blood, we know if it's half in one keli, half in another, and you combine it's no good. Says, you want to hold the Rava Mahi. You see, Rava said it was Kaddish, even if it's in 2 separate kelim. And it seems like he doesn't learn out from Dam. And Rava just said, we learn out from Dam that you have to be Makabal, the Kohen has to hold on to the Kli. So he says, no, we do learn out from Dam, Kvitzim from Dam. And Rava retracted, Rava retracted, and he said half and half is no good by Kvitzah, just like by Dam. Like Dam, and not like Kaddish. By dam, how do we know if you put half the share of dam in one kilo, half in the other, it's no good? So if you want to tell me after Chalif Ben Shol, after Chalif Ben Shol had learned, Kiddush Paks Mikdei Hazabi Kliza, or Paks Mikdei Hazabi Kliza, he put only half the dam in one kli. I'm sorry, but this is talking about Mayim, the Meichatas. He put the Meichatas, and in the Meichatas you have to have enough to make 7 sprays. To put in the hyssop, those gauze that you spray on the tummy mace. And he only had half the share in each keli. Says the Gemara, and then he wants to be combine it like Kiddush. It doesn't become sanctified. He by lahu, and the Gemara asks the what's the din by dam? By dam.
By water, he says it's no good.
Huh?
By water, it's no good, he's saying.
By water, it's no good. By blood, What do we say by blood? Do we say that it's going to be good or not? Says is the din by Meichatas that it's halach l'maish mesina that you have to have all the water for the 7 azoyis lechatchila and you can't split it? So then if it's halach l'maish mesina by water, so you can't learn out from the halach l'maish mesina for dam.
Why is that hilchasa?
He said so if it's halach l'maish mesina, that Meichatas has to be the full share in the lead. Okay?
You can't split it between two cases.
Right. My time the reason is why it's not going to be good unless the whole share is there by the Meichatas, the Chsiva Tov Labayim. Because the Torah says he has to do the tefillah in order to do, there has to be enough tefillah to do 7 azoyis. So just like it says V'taval, enough water to do the 7 azoyis on the Tomei Meis. Hachanami here too, Haksiv, state V'tav Badam. Says the same word V'taval by blood. So too it has to be the full share. Hitma, I'm gonna be Zrika, I'm gonna have Laza. Yeah, Abadam like Kiddush. So too by Dam, if it was in 2 separate kalim, half a share, it's no good because the Torah says V'taval.
You can't combine it later.
You can't combine it later. I'm gonna have a Tani Namahak. We look in the Braisa similarly. V'taval. This we had in the Gemara in Zvachim. What does V'taval tell us? You have to dip your finger in. V'loy Misapik. If you want to spray the blood, you can't start wiping off blood on the walls of the keli. You have to dip your finger and spray it. Badam with a patach. Shehei badam shinit tefillah meikare. Badam tells us that you have to have enough blood in the kelim lechatchila for all the 7 azoyis. Min hadam shebe'inyan. The Gemara is going to explain what does that come to teach us. V'yitzchel michtav v'tavel, v'yitzchel michtav badam. We need both. Because Rachman v'tavel, if the Torah would have only written v'tavel, I would have thought that even though there wasn't the full share, meikare. That's why the Torah tells us you need badam. There has to be the full share in the kli of dam to be able to do 7 zikis. If the Torah would have only written the word badam, I would have thought that it could wipe off the blood of the walls of the keli to do the spray. That's why the Torah wrote v'tavel. Min hadam shabeinyan l'miyutimai. What does it mean min hadam in the pasuk? Shabeinyan. What does it come to exclude? Amarava l'miyuti shiraim shabeetzma. L'mashal. He took a lot of blood in his finger and he made the spray, and there's still leftover blood. He wants to make another spray.
He wants to clean his fingers.
So then he says he can't do another spray. From is that He says if the shiraim of the finger is left over, it's possible soon to do another hazah.
It's not a kosher keli.
He can do another hazah.
Yes, put again.
Amalei Rav Marava Rava. Amin Talmid Chama Rava Amram. They said Rav Ada asked on Rava. Your own Talmidim said in the name of Rav Amram Tanya. We learned in the Braisa. Hoya Mazer Nitza Hazam Yodei. He was spraying, and part of the blood, gespritzt, sprayed on his own baggage, let's say. So, actually, if this spray happened first before he did the hazah, Toin Kibbutz, he has to wash the begadim. But once he did all the 7 sprays, ain't Toin Kibbutz, then it's not. So Hadish Kein Kiddusha. My love, is it then not? Actually, come hazah. That means till he doesn't finish all the hazahs, there's no. So if he didn't finish, he's going to have to wash his clothing. Then it's going to be mutter. So shmami not the shiraim shebe'etzba kshenim. You see, the shiraim of the etzba is considered as kosher blood, because after you do the first spray, as long as you didn't do all 7. Blood falls on the baggage, you have to wash the begadim. That means the begadim is kosher blood. It's holy blood. So that's not the pshat. Actually, he means that after the first hazah, after you did one hazah, and a little bit of blood spray on the baggage, then if it was before the hazah Ton Gibbs, you have to wash your begadim. But once he did the hazah, the nitza, and then after the first spray, it sprayed on your baggage, mashanema. Mashanishan from what was left over from the blood, ain't Toin Kibbutz, you don't have to wash the begadim. So you see, once he does the spray, the blood after the shiraim has no verda. Abai is the shayla gamim lahazis. It says once he finished spraying the blood, he wipes his hand on the goof of the parah. Gama in like Amalai. Only if he finished does he wipe his hand, but if he didn't finish, he doesn't. Amalai Rav said to Abaye, Gama mekaneches yadei, loy gama mekaneches atzvoi. It says befedish. Gama he wipes his hand, and if it wasn't Gama, he wipes his finger. So l'cheira, you see that a stina here. You say you wipe he sprays, and he doesn't have to wipe his whole hand. Sagt die Mother Bishlem
Blood
Gama.
on the fingers, not on the head.
Oh, one sec. Bishlem Gama mekanet yadik beguf shapara. Says I understand. Once he finishes, he wipes his hand on the goof of the potter. It says befedish. You should burn the potter with all the rest of the blood. But if he didn't finish, he wipes each finger. In fact, your mother, I made a mistake. So the kasha is, so it says mekanech, we know only by the hand you mekanech, not by the fingers. So he says no. What did he say mekanech? He meant the whole hand. But the finger you are mekanech. Says your mother, I understand. Once you finish, you're standing with the behemoth, you wipe your whole hand. But when you're wiping each finger, what are you going to wipe your finger on? You were all the way on top when you were spraying the blood. The behemoth is on the bottom to be burned. It's a different place. Every time you give a spray, you have to run down to the behemoth and give a wipe. Says so the Gemara.
Take a long mistake.
Abaya, but the Gemara bisvas mizak. It means that he wipes it on the rim of the golden bowl, like it like it says in the pasuk, kifayde zav. The golden bowl, the rim of the golden bowl. Every time he gave a spray, the finger he would wipe on the rim of the golden bowl.
Why couldn't you use the same finger again?
Because the behemoth was in another place. It says he should wipe, after he makes the spray, he should wipe his finger on what? The behemoth's not there. Every time he has to run to the behemoth to wipe it.
So what